Morning everybody, this is a video showing you how to take the hexagonal flower boxes through Design Space, and it's been prompted this morning by a message from a lady who's bought it and who said the file isn't compatible with Design Space, which of course it is. I think I get a lot of messages like this from people who've cut a lot of vinyl but who've never worked with card before and they've never made anything 3D before from files which have multiple pieces and score lines within them. And so when they're trying to bring a file like this into Design Space, they're just on their phone or their tablet, they're just double clicking on it like you can with a lot of SVGs to get it into Design Space that way, and you absolutely can't. You've got to open Design Space first. In fact, I'll go back and do a new project. You've got to open Design Space first, use this upload button here, and then if it's not already in your library, you would use upload image and then you'd use browse on whatever device you're on. So if you're on an Apple product, you'd be looking for your files, I think it is, files folder. And if it was an Android, you'd be having to go through, I think, is it File Manager to try and find where your downloads are. On PC, if you've only just downloaded it, then you'd go to your downloads folder there, or you would navigate to elsewhere on your machine where the file is, and you'd click on it, click open, and then here you can see it's a true cut file. You can only bring it in as a cut image. You don't get that choice like you do with many files that you bring in for vinyl, and you upload it and it ends up in your library, and then you just click on it and say add to canvas. And then there's all the conversions to do with the score line. So I'm not going to do it with that one. I'm going to do it with the vases so that I can show this particular person how it works. So this SVG has been out a long time. And it's to make these lovely sloping sided hexagonal flower boxes, which are incredibly strong once you've made them. And the SVG comes in looking like this, and as always you need to convert the lines which always come in as cuts to scores. And as always with my SVGs, the score lines that you need to convert are in this first group here in your layers panel. You can tell that these are groups. All SVGs with score lines come in three groups. There's the group of cut pieces, the group of score lines, and then those two things are in another group. So they're grouped within another group. So you've got to ungroup 3 times, but it really helps if you do it in the right order. And the best way to start is select the score lines by just clicking on the name of that group, and it selects everything within it. Then you go over to your operations menu or wherever that is on the version of Design Space that you're using, click on Basic Cut and convert these lines to scores, and you can see that they become dash now, so they're score lines. While they are still selected, you need to ungroup them. So on the PC, that's at the top of your layers panel. In the app, it'll be elsewhere, but ungroup is the command you want. Okay, so you've ungrouped the score lines. Now you need to ungroup all the coloured cut pieces. So again, you just click on the name of that group. It selects everything in the group, and you click ungroup once more. And then finally, you've still got this last remaining group with everything in it. Click on the name of that group and ungroup a third time. So always with cut file SVGs with score lines, 3 ungroups, ideally in that order: scores, cut pieces, the whole thing. So now that everything is an individual piece, you need to attach these score lines to the piece it relates to, because if you don't, the score lines can move on their own, and they would, if we click make it, you can see that all the scores appear on a mat on their own, and that's exactly what you don't want. So we'll just undo that. Quickest way to do that is to click on screen somewhere near the piece, drag a box to enclose it more or less, and click attach. Again, in PC, that's at the bottom of your layers panel. It'll be somewhere else on your app, but that's the command you're looking for, attach. And do it also with the base. Right, so with this one, so that you don't have to convert and attach 6 times, I just give you one piece for each vase side, and it's a 6-sided vase. So you now need to duplicate this converted and attached piece so that you got 6 of it. So you can either use the duplicate button or Control D on your keyboard, or however that's done on the version of Design Space that you're using. So I'm just going to delete once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times. So now I know I've got 6 walls and 1 base. The listing tells you what size your SVG what size vase your SVG creates. So refer to that. And of course, because these are all individual pieces, you can make them as big as you like. So you could end up making a really big vase, or you can even go even smaller and make a cute little posy vase. I don't need to cut it, so I'm just going to press cancel. So that's the tall version of this SVG. There is also this shorter version, but I'll just bring it in to show that it does work in Design Space. Again, you're just going to click on that first group, second line down in the Layers panel, go over to Operations menu, click Score, and while it's selected, ungroup it. Then select all the coloured cut pieces, ungroup those. Then select the whole SVG and ungroup that. Click somewhere on the canvas nearest space to select the cut piece and its scores, and attach. And then when you move them, they all move together. And do the same for this other piece. Attach, and then duplicate this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, so you end up with 6 walls and 1 base. This is the shorter vase, so it uses a lot less paper, as you can see. You get 2 versions of it, so there's a tall vase and a short vase, so you've actually got the capacity to make quite a lot of different size boxes within that. But just remember that when you're enlarging or reducing, select everything so that you do it all in proportion together. Alright, I hope that helps. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to come back to me. I'm always happy to help. I know we're all at different stages in our crafting journey, and I'm quite sure that when I started I asked some questions which I could kick myself for now. So please don't ever be frightened to ask. We've all been there. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.